Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.
You are watching Conversations with Jennylyn, and as we continue to share stories with you around the world, I am very grateful today because we are in Spain and we have a very informative guest who is going to tell us what's happening in Spain at the moment. And you know what? Sorry, I just for some reason not thinking of your name. I'm having a rough morning. Let's start again.
Ramon Lopez.
Why did I blank on your name? I'll edit this part out, so we'll start again. You're watching Conversations with Jennylyn, and today I have Ramon Lopez of Spain on the screen with me, and he is going to tell us what's been happening in Spain since the coronavirus has affected their country. Ramon, thank you so much for taking time out of it's evening, right?
Yeah, it is evening. First of all, thanks Jennylyn for having me in your show. I'm very pleased you invited me.
Well, I was very grateful when you said yes, because I know that Spain is one of the countries that has been hit very hard based on the reports that we've been seeing in the news. And I thought it would be nice to get someone in Spain to share their perspective from someone who's living there and privy to what's going on the ground. So many people are not sure that what's being reported by mainstream media is exactly what is happening. So I thought if I started this show and speak to people directly, we'll have a really good idea of what's happening, at least from their perspective and where they live. So tell us, where do you live in Spain?
Well, I live in a small village called Calafell, which is by the coast and is 40 miles away from Barcelona in Catalonia. And well, the figures here in Spain are very bad. Well, the situation was pretty ugly some days back, but now it has improved quite a lot. We are starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? But the figures are devastating. We've got 170,000 cases confirmed, 18,000 deaths, and the good news is we've got 65,000 people recovered. And today it's been 1 month since we were sheltered in place. That's what the situation looks like.
So Spain, Italy, and New York that I know of at the moment, and people are squabbling about the numbers reported for China, but these countries have been hit pretty hard. Why do you think Spain has been affected like it has? Some countries, they don't seem to have as many cases reported or as many deaths. And so to me, it's one thing if they're reporting one number of people testing positive, but the deaths are definitely telling. Why do you think that there's so many cases in Spain that you've lost so many lives? What do you think that your country has done wrong?
Well, first of all, I'm not a technician. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a sales manager. And so I'm into sales. I'm going to give you just my opinion. That might be right or might be wrong. Okay. But obviously, I do really think we've done something wrong. I don't think we are taking the lead of deaths by chance, because we are taking the lead. In total numbers, we are the third country with more deaths. But in percentage, we are the first country. We've got 378 deaths per million inhabitants, which that's a lot.
It's high.
Yeah, so very high. The second one is Belgium with 350 something, and Italy is the third one with 341. And I think the US is 72 casualties per million inhabitants so far. And obviously we've done something wrong. I can't tell you exactly what we've done wrong, But I don't know, for example, on March the 14th, we were ordered to be sheltered in place. On March the 8th, so just a few days earlier, there was this day of International Women's Day, where there were demonstrations all over Spain. Lots of people gathering for these big demonstrations, big crowds of people coming together.
Were they aware? Were they aware of the coronavirus at the time?
Yeah, of course. There were some cases confirmed, and there were some deaths. Not many cases. It was, it was at the beginning. Not many cases confirmed, but not many deaths. But the thing is, the European Union advised Spain not to allow, the government not to allow these demonstrations. But the government, what they did was to ignore this piece of advice that they allow these demonstrations. And what happened? That day, the following day, the infections shot up like crazy. I think that was a very big mistake, and especially that hit. The hit was in Madrid and in Barcelona, where the population is higher. I think that was the beginning of this whole thing. The government should have not allowed those demonstrations to take place. But they did. Why? Obviously, because it's a political thing.
Politics again.
Yeah, and political thing prevailed over common sense. And this is one of the things that happened. Another thing I think we've done wrong is, we haven't done massive tests. Obviously, it's very difficult to carry out massive testings. But what some of the countries have done, Asian countries have done, is what they call, the smart testing. When they come across a positive person, what they do is like contact tracing. So they see who this person has been surrounded by, who this person has been in contact with, and what they do is they do testings to all those people and isolate those who are confirmed positive. We haven't done that, and I think that was a very big mistake too. I know it's very easy to be critical in hindsight, but
well, hopefully,
you ask me.
The good thing is when in situations like this, when we can identify what we've done wrong, God forbid we have to deal with it in the future, we will know what we shouldn't do and what we should do, right? And I think that's hopefully what should happen when we make mistakes and poor choices in general. So your job has definitely been affected by this because you are in quarantine, right? How is this affecting you?
Well, it's affecting me. It's affecting me a lot because there has been lots of temporary layoffs. So right now I'm temporary unemployed because that's one of the measures that the government allows the companies, just for them to be relieved economically. What they do is they fire you temporarily, and the government gives you some money to go by.
Maybe you shouldn't call it fire. Maybe you should say layoff.
Yeah, well, call it wherever you want to call it. That's okay. If this is more polite to say layoff, that's right, because it's temporary. I'm going to go back to work. I know that for sure. Well, at least this is what I want. I cross my fingers. But this is what's going on. There are lots of people, lots of workers in layoffs.
So is the government helping you while your job has put you on pause? Because it sounds like that's what it is. You're on pause.
Okay, I am on pause. Lots of people here in Spain are on pause. Okay, if you want to call it like that. The government is helping us. Yes, the government is giving us some money depending on how high is your salary. But right. The thing is, the more you get paid in your company, the more money you lose, because there is a maximum of money the government is going to give you, right? Which is 1,000 euro. So if you get paid much more than that, you're going to lose a lot of money.
Yes, but you know what? It puts things in perspective because you're still alive and you're still healthy, right? And you can recuperate that loss later on. I'm just trying to, because I'm also on quarantine, and what you're describing to me in terms of what your government is doing to help the Spanish citizens, we have similar type programs here in the US, and they're structured very similarly. So even though, you know, you're not getting paid what you always got, I still am grateful because for those people who are getting something, because at least they're safe. And this is a temporary situation, but I know what you mean because you still have all your bills, right?
That's right. And because I'm on payroll, but because the thing is, there's two types, right? Those workers who are on payrolls and those workers who are freelancers. And for freelancers, it's much worse because they earn as much money as they make. And right now, they cannot make any money at all. And what's going on here is that they are losing real money, much more than us who are on payroll, right? And for them, the government is going to give an extraordinary cash benefit. They are going to open lines of credit guaranteed by the government for freelancers, and they're going to postpone the payments of their taxes. But they're going through very hard times.
And so you told me you've been on quarantine for 1 month. How much more time do you think you will be quarantined?
Okay, we were supposed to be in quarantine until April the 26th, but the thing is going to be extended until May the 10th. But obviously there is going to be a de-escalation of the rules. Some rules are going to be less stricter, right? But the thing is that yesterday, all workers, all non-essential workers, not all of them, but the workers, the non-essential workers in sectors like construction or industry, they went back to work yesterday. They went back to work. And here, yeah, there is a debate that it is too early for letting those workers go back to work.
It sounds like that, especially since you guys have been affected so dramatically in terms of your debts. Why are they allowing them to go back?
Obviously, they are looking for a balance between healthcare and economic care. But this is very dangerous, and scientists are advising against, because obviously there can be a spike, there can be a rise on the figures, and we could go back and lose all the way we've done so far. So let's see what happens. But I think this is a bit crazy. We should have waited a bit longer. But I know it's difficult because money talks, you know, and this is what happens.
Yes, but do they have restrictions for the people going back out to work? Do they have a medical protocol they need to follow to prevent spread?
Well, the government is going to give out 10 million masks. That's the main measure. Policemen and women are going to be waiting at the subways or at the bus stations, and they're going to give out masks to everyone. The government has also published a guide where they say what you have to do to keep safe. You know, things like keeping social distancing and washing your hands and things like that. But I don't think that's enough. But I can understand that this situation can last very long because we're losing a lot of money, and then it's going to be quite difficult to recover. Where we're gonna find out there when we finish this confinement, it's gonna be like a desert. That's what I think.
Gosh, it's very sad. I mean, I've been speaking to people around the world, and all of the stories are very similar. How are they? Do you know how they're disposing of the bodies? I mean, it's so sad that people are dying without saying goodbye to their loved ones. Are you privy to how they're handling the death, the the fatalities?
Well, I think they are putting them aside in specific buildings. But yes, you cannot go and say farewell to your beloved ones. You're not allowed to do that. But the thing is, right now, you can go to work, but you cannot go and say goodbye to your beloved ones if they die, which is not, that's a very funny situation, you know, very weird situation.
Yeah,
I don't know if they have changed right now, but it was like that too some days ago.
this is just horrible. I can't imagine dying and not being able to say goodbye to my loved ones. I just hope it's not something I ever have to deal with.
Me too.
How are your hospitals managing? Do you know if they have the equipment that they need to cater to the number of cases that they have?
No, obviously they don't have the equipment needed. Right now they're doing much better because the admissions are lower and the people in intensive care units are fewer. But the lack of enough ventilators, this is very important, because some days ago they had to decide to which patients give the ventilators, because there were not ventilators for everybody. So if there was a patient with not too many chances of getting away, they were not given ventilators because they needed the ventilators for other people who were more likely to survive. And that was really sad, because the doctors had to decide to which patient give those ventilators. And that was really sad very story. So for healthcare workers, there's been lots of pressure on them.
Oh, this is insane. I could not fathom in my lifetime that people would need a ventilator and die for lack of. You know, this disease is so unprecedented, and it seems like no one was really prepared for it, which I think says a lot, because when it happened in China, we should have all started gearing up. But I don't think anyone believed that the magnitude that each country is being affected would ever really happen in their particular countries. Because we always think, oh, it's going to happen in China because they eat all sorts of stuff. But no, that would never happen here.
Yeah, you always think this is going to happen to somebody else, no? In some other countries.
Yeah.
But then it hits you.
Yes, and when it comes, it's like, I think what happened is everyone underestimated the power of this virus. And
yeah, at the beginning there was like a denial, no?
Of course, yes. And I think that's why it's hit us all so hard, because no one really understood that it just roars through with a vengeance and hits everything in its path. So you said it seems like it's plateaued now in your country. You feel like the numbers have stabilized.
That's what they say. That's what they say. In the last 24 hours, just only between inverted commas, 500 people died, which is a lot. But we had a peak like 2 weeks ago, something like that, of 950 casualties in a day. So the numbers have dropped quite a lot, but they are still very high. So we'll see what happens.
As far as you know, are the people in Spain taking this seriously now? And are they, quarantining themselves and their families? Or do you still see people running around? Because I've spoken to people in other countries where they say some people are just not taking it seriously and they're still running around and out in the public socializing. Have you noticed that to be true in Spain?
Yeah. It used to happen more often at the beginning. Right now, just people are more conscious of the dangers of going out into the street. But even though there are people who try to skip the rules, and the police are watching, and they are giving tickets to all pressing charges to all those people who are not respecting the rules, who are skipping them. For example, here in this Holy Week, because where I live near the beach, I live next to the ocean, right? And this is a second residence for a lot of people. And a lot of people from Barcelona wanted to come over here just to spend, their holidays. And there was police blocking the roads and turning them around. So there are some people who try to escape the confinement. Yes, there are some irresponsible ones, of course, definitely.
Well, I'm happy that the police are enforcing it, because those are the people that will continue to spread.
Yes.
Because some of them may be strong, have a good resistance, and not appear asymptomatic, but they could be the ones that are passing it around because they don't know that they have it, or probably don't care. Some people don't care. So, what is open? Which businesses are open? In the US, where I live, grocery stores and pharmacies are open. Many other places are closed. Is it the same in Spain where you are?
It's the same here. Grocery stores and pharmacy, and some banks too. Some offices are open as well, but not many, not all of them, just some. And nothing else. Bars, restaurants, stores, clothes stores, jewelry stores, and all the rest is completely shut down. So there is no business going on.
What have you as a person learned from this experience that you don't think you would have been aware of if you were just carrying on with the normal hustle and bustle and routine?
Well, I've learned quite a few things. The first thing is the importance of having a very good public healthcare system. This is very important. This is really, really, really important. Another thing I've learned is that we are vulnerable. We take life for granted. We think this is going to last forever. It's not something I've learned, but it's something I've been reminded of. That happens the same when someone around you dies, a friend or a relative. It happens the same. You see how vulnerable we are, and we have to be able to enjoy the here and now, not making so many plans and trying to make the best of the moment, of the right moment, of the here and now, as I said. That's another thing I've learned, or I've been reminded of. And another one, and not less important than the other two, is the thing that we have to save some money for rainy days. And this is very important, because if you come across a situation like this and you have no money at all to go by, this is going to be harder, much harder. So it's much better if we don't, we don't enter this rat race. No, this rat that comes into the wheel, and the more the rat runs, the more the wheel spins, but it never moves. It's always in the same place, right? So the more money we get, the more money we spend. So we got to be very careful and watch out. And we have to try to put aside some money for this crisis, because sooner or later you're going to come across a crisis. Not maybe like this, but we had a crisis in 2008, an economic one, and we'll have another crisis. We'll come across another crisis in the future. So it's better if we are prepared and have put aside some money to go by. These are the three things I've learned.
Were you born and raised in the city where you now live?
No, I was born in Barcelona, but I was raised here. Yeah, but I was born in Barcelona, but I moved away when I was 5 years old.
I know you're in quarantine, but are you impressed with how the people in the city where you live, are they being supportive of each other? Are you aware of any situations like that? I feel like these situations can bring the best or the worst out of people. Have you been privy to either one?
Well, what we do here is always at 8 o'clock in the evening, what we do is we go out to the balconies and we pay a tribute to all the healthcare workers by clapping our hands, sounding, saucepans, just making noise, just to say thank you to all those healthcare workers who are risking their lives and who are working under so much pressure. This is what we do. This is that's
is
something that
awesome.
yeah, that's what we do. Because well, here we don't live in houses, right? We live, well, some people do, but most people live in buildings, in apartments.
Yes.
So you've got your neighbors very near and you can see them.
That's great that you guys are doing that. Those people are real heroes and they need to be applauded. And we've lost some of them to the virus.
Oh yeah, quite a lot. I think it was like 12% or something like that were people who work in hospitals.
Oh,
something like that.
Really?
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, because they didn't have the right equipment, especially at the beginning.
Oh my God. So, geez, I didn't realize you've lost that many of your healthcare workers to the virus. Have you lost anyone to the virus that you know of? Any friend or family?
No, just as well, I haven't.
I'm really happy to hear that. So you think now that they have allowed these people to go back out to work while your numbers have barely plateaued? It's kind of scary.
Well, I suppose it's scary for some people, for some other it's not. It depends on your character.
And while you were growing up in the area, in the city where you live, what is life like there normally?
Well, here is very quiet. But the thing is, I don't work here. I work in a bigger town near Barcelona. But the thing is, I travel quite a lot all over Spain and all over Portugal.
Do you commute on your own or do you take public transportation?
I commute on my own. I go by car, but obviously when I travel, I usually go by plane.
Okay. Yes, the reason I asked you that is I personally believe that New York has been hit as hard as it has because it's a dense city and because people take public transportation. And I've been on the trains in New York and those things are really packed. And just the stations where you board have always been, packed as well. So I would imagine that's one of the ways that it got spread as much as it has there. What do you want to leave with my viewers that I have not asked you?
Well, I just want to give your listeners, your viewers, a message of hope. We're going to come out of this, and I think as a society we're going to come out stronger. That's what I really think, and I hope we learn some lessons like the ones I said to you before. But we shouldn't panic. We should obviously we have to be worried because you can help it, but we don't have to be scared. We have to avoid to be scared because this is not to go and help us go through these hardships. So just a message of hope. We'll come out of this and stronger, and there will be something we will be able to tell to our grandchildren.
Are you a parent?
Yeah, I am a parent of an 18-year-old boy.
Okay, and so was he through with school or is he currently in school before the quarantine?
No, everything is closed. He won't be back at college until September, until the next course.
So how is the education system handling school while?
Well, he's taking lessons online right now.
Okay.
He's taking lessons on, yeah, he is.
And has the school informed them for sure when they would be returning? You said September? Is that?
They said September. Said September.
Yes.
Yeah, because obviously, although the confinement is going to be lifted, what they don't want is to put, lots of people together.
Okay, so do you know how the other schools, like for younger children, how the country is catering to the quarantine? Do you know?
No, they're going to do the same thing. They won't be back till September.
And they have online classes for them?
They have online classes for them.
Okay.
That's what they are doing right now.
And how do you think this is affecting your son, this experience, from your observation?
He's very tough. I don't think, well, maybe it's affecting him, but I can see it. He's not expressing any emotion at all. He's bored at home. He does his classes. He plays video games, but it's probably affecting him as it is affecting me, but not a lot, really, not a lot.
I asked you that question because I know at that age, the kids are always going out and, hanging out together, and then suddenly they can't get together with their friends.
He's got a girlfriend. He's missing her.
Oh, is she far away? Is she far away?
No, she lives quite close, but since they can go out, they can see each other physically, and okay, because we've got technology to be kept in touch with, but not physically. No physical approach.
I feel like somehow we are blessed, even though this is such a time of crisis. Could you imagine how we would all cope with this situation without social media?
Oh yeah, I thought about that. It would have been much more difficult doing nothing at home, because right now it makes a real difference. Definitely.
Yes, you and I could
be able to do it. Yeah.
You and I would not have been able to do this interview.
That's right. For example, that's an instance. Yeah.
And the school children would not be able to continue with any type of distance learning because there'd be no way to do it. It would be physically impossible. So everything has its good and its bad. There's a lot of hacking and a lot of things that are not so on the up and up that people can do when they get a hold of your account, if they hack into it. But if you protect it, it's really working out for us during this crisis, because we're still continuing our lives because of social media.
I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Well, I am very grateful to you that you took the time. I think we covered everything. Did we miss anything? Did I not ask you anything you think we should discuss?
Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you a quick anecdote that I read the other day in an article. There was one of this old married couple who got infected and they were over their 70s, and they were taken together to the hospital. And when the healthcare workers found out that they were a couple, they were put in the same room. And, the nurse was helping them, and the man asked the nurse if they could put the beds together because they wanted to hold hands. And I think that was very, very emotional,
Oh, how did the nurse tell you? How did you find out?
Well, I read it in an article.
Oh, that is so special.
In a newspaper, yeah, that was.
Well, I really enjoyed this, and thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. I have never gone to Spain, and I would like to visit sometime. What is the best place to visit when I first travel to Spain? Where would you recommend?
Well, there are lots of places to go to in Spain, but obviously for me, the three best places are Barcelona, Madrid, and Seville.
Okay. And your airports are closed, right?
Yeah, well, everything is closed right now. Yeah, our airports are closed. Yeah.
Yes. So it's probably going to be a while before life resumes its normalcy.
Yeah, but maybe for this summer, you can come and pay a visit to us.
Yes, I don't know.
You're welcome.
Be very cautious. I think I'm going to wait next year before I travel overseas. I'll just play it safe.
No, you don't have to wait. You have to spend your money right away. We go out the crisis. If not, we're not going to recover our normal situation.
You're just trying to get me to come and help to revamp your economic situation. I know. You think that you guys, there's talk of a vaccine really quick. How do you feel about that?
About the lack of vaccines?
Do you feel that if and when a vaccine really, when they have one, that it will stop this virus? Do you feel?
Well, of course, but I'm not a scientist, but obviously it will stop. But what I hear is vaccine is not going to come out in at least a year.
Right, I've heard that too. Do you know if the people in your country were given the BCG shot? It's a vaccine they give you for tuberculosis.
Oh yeah, of course. I don't think so. I heard you ask one of your guests the other day about this shot.
Yes.
That you took this shot, right?
Yes, I have it. I was given it in South America, and I've noticed the countries where the population was given this shot, their numbers aren't as high. That's why I was just checking my theory, because I am not a scientist. I'm just doing it by deduction and watching the numbers. And that's why I was asking you, because I know a lot of countries in Europe, I know that the British have it because I was raised in a British territory. So that's why I was asking you if the people of Spain, if you were given this vaccine.
I know why you're asking, because you think that if they are given that shot, they are more immune to get the infection, right? But I can't tell you because I don't really know. I don't remember any shots I was given, not at all.
I don't think if you got it, you don't forget, because it leaves a big scar on your arm.
Well, I've got a big one in my arm. Maybe it's because of that, but I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I was given a big shot, but I don't know what it was because it was a very long time ago. I know this is not something I've been worried about.
Yeah, it's just me checking, because I'm trying to look at the countries where they have the large numbers and a lot of.
No, don't worry. You're going to survive.
I'm not worried.
I can see it in your face.
You're sweet. Everybody has to die sometime. If it's my time now, I've lived a good life, and I can go peacefully.
You are still too young.
But I have a very good friend who's a doctor. He always tells me, Jenny, only the good die young. Ramon, thank you
Don't worry.
Thank you so
don't worry.
much. Thank you so much again. This was
Thanks
great.
Thanks to you again for inviting me. As I said, it's an honor to be invited by you.
Oh, you're very sweet. And you continue to take care of your lovely son, and I will be in touch with you. And thanks again for watching Conversations with Jennylyn, when a conversation is all you need to be inspired.
Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.